Today we're going to talk about MST technology, which is micronized sulfur technology. Before I talk about that, let's talk about sulfur itself. Sulfur is one of the important macronutrient, secondary macronutrient. It is a component of amino acids that form protein. It's a component of chlorophyll that's very important for photosynthesis. It's a component of different cofactor, coenzymes, different secondary plant metabolites that's important for different physiological functions, plant growth and development. In summary, sulfur is very important for the crop. Depending upon the crop species, every crop will need some sulfur. And generally there's always a 1 to 15 ratio of nitrogen sulfur that plant needs for optimum crop growth and development. So let's talk about some of the fertilizer sources that you can find around for sulfur. One is elemental sulfur, which is very classic sulfur fertilizer, and their percentages are very high. It's 80% sulfur, 90% sulfur. Plant cannot use elemental sulfur. It needs to convert it to sulfate by soil bacteria so that sulfate can be utilized by the plant. In this process, the conversion process, hydrogen ion is released, and that hydrogen ion reduces the soil pH. Therefore, elemental sulfur in a lot of times also used as a soil amendment tool to drop the soil pH at high rates, obviously. Second source is different water-soluble forms, especially sulfate and thiosulfate. Sometimes sulfates are in a dry formulation, thiosulfates come in liquid formulation that are water-soluble. You can spray with water. Only the good thing is it is a sulfate form that's readily used by plant, and the drawback is because sulfate is leachable. It's not as leachable as nitrate. It's a 1/3. It has a 1/3 leachability as compared to the nitrate, but still it has some leachability. So with this sulfate and thiosulfate fertilizer, you'll have some leaching problems. So why we're talking about sulfur these days, that's the more important question, is before our air was not clean. After the Clean Air Act, our air doesn't have that sulfur dioxide that it used to be there in the atmosphere. There's no acid rainfall, so we have less automobile pollution, less industrial pollution, so plants are not getting that free sulfur, and they're showing some deficiency symptoms. So there is a need for sulfur, and there's a need for more efficient technology as a sulfur fertilizer. So there comes the MST, or micronized sulfur technology. The particle size is very small, micron size. So with the smaller particle size, it has a larger surface area where soil bacteria can act upon, and so that they can convert elemental sulfur to the sulfate. So this makes faster conversion of sulfur to sulfate and faster availability of elemental sulfur to the plants. Traditional elemental sulfur, because of the bigger sizes, stays in the ground for a long time, months and sometimes years if it's a cold temperature. But with the MST technology, you can have elemental sulfur that has a smaller particle size, larger surface area for bacteria to act upon, and faster degradation or conversion to sulfate that plant can utilize. Unlike sulfate and thiosulfate, because the conversion process is gradual over the time, it is less prone to leaching as compared to sulfate and thiosulfate fertilizer. So, and some of the manufacturers have MST technology, micronized sulfur technology, in the water dispersible form, so that you can spray with the water. Especially, it needs to go to the ground, because every time when you apply sulfur, sometimes elemental sulfur can be used as a pesticide, as a contact pesticide for mites and powdery mildew. So you do a foliar application, yes. But when you're trying to use elemental sulfur as a soil amendment or a fertilizer nutrition product, it has to go to the ground. So some of these water dispersible material can be injected into the irrigation system, as long as you keep that material in the constant solution with the constant agitation. It can be drip injected and spoon fed based on the crop need. In general, MST technology great, and it is one of the great technology to provide sulfur to plants in an efficient manner.